Guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys are staying safe. So guys, just a quick reaction to some of you on my video that I just put up about the Conor Benn situation. Sometimes when I make a video about Amir Khan, sometimes I do get a little emotional, probably because as you guys know, I got into the sport watching it because of him. And when you see a lot of people coming and saying some of the stuff that they say, it irritates me a little bit. So I can sometimes be a little bit biased. Yeah, I admit that. And I mentioned that there are a lot of racists towards Amir Khan. Of course there are. But SF2X+, you pointed a good point, actually. You said that, look at it both ways. His personality, he lying about other fighters, Amir Khan, that, yeah, I'd agree with you. 100% agree with you that Amir Khan basically said that Conor Benn's not got a world title, but Kell Brook had a world title. So why didn't he fight Kell Brook? And Amir, you pointed this out as well. And you're 100% spot on. And you know what? Amir Khan might look back at that now and think, you know what? I'm getting called out by Conor Benn. I'm getting called out by Conor Benn. You know, but Kell Brook was calling me out. Kell Brook was a great talent, great fighter. And now I want to fight Kell Brook when Kell Brook's done. But at that time, that could have been a huge legacy fight, filled out 100,000. And it would have been an epic fight. But that fight didn't happen. And let's be honest, we can't blame Kell Brook because he wasn't the A-side in that fight. We have to blame the A-side because usually it's the A-side, the one that's a pulling power, that decides whether the fight happens. And we all know that was Amir Khan. And if he wanted that fight to happen, that would have happened. And it's upsetting. It's upsetting the fact that now he's being called out by Conor Benn, who's a British level fighter. And you think about it, when you think, and you know, Conor Benn, let me tell you, I wanted to do this video to see if Conor Benn can surpass. Someone asked me, can Conor Benn surpass Amir Khan and Kell Brook in terms of what they were as fighters? Kell Brook was a welterweight world champion. Amir Khan was a unified at 140. Yeah, he may do. I'll tell you why. Amir Khan and Kell Brook are way more talented than Conor Benn. When they started boxing, they were just on another level. But you know what this kid's got? He's got a lot of he's got a great work ethic. He's got great work ethic, and he wasn't as talented, like Khan said in his tweet, that he was already unified champion at his age. Yeah, he was. But you know, Conor Benn's born into the rich lifestyle. He's not had it hard. He's been born rich. Yet he works his butt off. And he's improved so much. That's a dangerous person right there. That's born into wealth, right? And that's worked so hard. Literally, I didn't think he'd get past British level. I didn't think Conor Benn would get past British level. He now just destroyed a guy on fringe world level. And that's all hard work. But yet, with Amir Khan, even though, like I said, I love Amir Khan, one of my, like I said, inspiration almost. But let's be honest, the second part of his career, right? He was inactive. He was hardly fighting, you know, and it almost felt like we didn't get to see enough of him in his prime. It almost got taken away from us because he was so talented, so good. And some of the big fights like the Thurman, the Brooks, the Porters, we didn't get him. Yeah, he fought Garcia at 140, but you know, the time where the second part of Amir Khan's career was gonna take off, right? When he needed to fight the Brooks, the Garcias, those were the fights. He was mandatory for Garcia's title, should have fought him then. He should have fought Kell Brook. And he may now look back at it and think, you know what, I made a huge mistake. I made a huge mistake. Kell Brook, what a talent he was. What a talent he was. And he was also ill-disciplined, wasted his prime years. And all these years, people come on my channel, they think I've always been always favored Khan. But I'm actually now, I feel for both. Because I think although Amir Khan achieved a lot more than Kell Brook, I even think he underachieved. I honestly think he could have achieved more. I think he should have definitely become a welterweight world champion. Guys like Devin Alexander became a welterweight champion. Broner became a welterweight world champion. Maidana became a welterweight world champion. Kell Brook became a welterweight world champion. Then we thought, that's it. Kell Brook's now going to go on to unify, and we fought Frankie Gavin, Jojo Dan, Kevin Bizzy. Firstly, he got stabbed, which was unfortunate. And then his career just like it fell away. Like, it fell away. Then we fought Golovkin, which was bad move, bad career. See, Kell Brook's career was really badly managed. But you know why that is? That was because down to his ill-disciplined lifestyle as well. Listen, again, Kell Brook was a great talent, man. Great talent. And he could have done so much more when you think about it. When you think about it, he could have done so much more. So much more. You know, he definitely should have unified. He shouldn't have fought Golovkin. He should have fought Jesse Vargas. And if he fought Jesse Vargas, he would have become a unified champion. I'm confident he would have beat Vargas. Amir Khan should have fought Danny Garcia when he was mandatory. Should have fought Danny Garcia. Or should have fought Kell Brook. Should have fought one of them. You know, he did so well against Canelo. Garcia and Brook aren't as good as Canelo. They aren't as big as Canelo. They would have been a lot more intriguing fights. More 50-50 fights. It's just really disappointing. And now when you think back at it in hindsight and you see that guys like Conor Benn are calling him out, and he'd go into the fight as an underdog now because of where he's at and where his career went. Look at people like Manny Pacquiao, 43, and he's been talked about fighting Crawford. And people still think he could beat Crawford. Think about it. People still think he can beat Crawford. And Manny's 43. Yeah, Manny was on a different level and he's an all-time great, one of the greatest ever. But nevertheless, that's because he kept himself in shape, he kept himself relevant. And both Amir Khan and Kell Brook could have done a lot more. And by the way, I will say that Amir Khan at 140 did a lot. Brook at welterweight, he beat one guy in Sean Porter. And then he could have done so much more. Brook's career is really frustrating, right? And if you're a Brook fan, you must be really frustrated. Because I know a lot of Amir Khan fans are frustrated. They feel that he could have done so much more. But Kell Brook's career, he could have done so much more. He could have been a unified champion. He could have held 2 or 3. Like Thurman became a unified champion. What a fight that would have been, Kell Brook v Keith Thurman. You know, and these mistakes that both these fighters made, I don't think Conor Benn's gonna become a celebrity or Conor Benn's gonna go astray. I think Conor Benn's he's gonna work his socks off, and he could surpass. To be honest, I didn't think he'd get past British level. So he's for me surpassed that. He surpassed that. So God knows where the ceiling is to this guy. Now, obviously, the welterweight division is really, really tough. So, and 154, he's not big for me. He's not a big enough he's not big enough light middleweight for me. I don't think he's physically that big to be able to go up to 154. Those guys are huge. Conor Benn doesn't look to me like he has the physicality to go up to 154. But at 147, you know, before I was saying that I think, you know, Ennis and guys like that, they're destroying. But actually now I don't know. I still would have them favourites, but I think Conor Benn's made a statement there. Conor Benn's made a serious statement there. And I don't know what the ceiling is to this kid. You know why? Because he works his socks off. And he's not... And I don't see him going astray. I don't see him starting to... You know, I see him working even harder now. I see him even getting even stronger. And I don't think this is going to be a guy that's going to do it for 1 or 2 or couple. He's going to be consistent. I can see him being consistent. He may lose, but like he said in his interview, even if I lose, then I'm going to work even harder to get back. Watch me come back. That's what he said. And Conor Benn, man, he could go a long way in the sport. He could definitely go a long way in the sport. because he's got that hard work. He's got that hard. He's dedicated. He's dedicated to his craft. He's improved so much. Anybody that's improved that much in such a short space of time, when you didn't think he would get past the British level, now he's on fringe world level. And yes, matchmaking is going to be very important moving forward. But like yesterday, I went down and I was having a chat with my dad, and he goes, he looked amazing. He goes, he looked unbelievable. He looked good the way he was throwing his... He just looked fantastic. And he did. Like, from what we've seen before, he looked unbelievable. So, the improvement, like I said in my previous video, Tony Sims has got to take a lot of credit, man. He's got to take a lot of credit for what he did. And to be honest, I don't know as of right now whether in achievements-wise he's going to become a unified champion. And he's gonna even become a world champion, because, like I said, both Amir Khan and Kell Brook were great fighters. But this kid has got a lot of work. His work ethic is through the roof, and he's there, and he wants to get better. He wants to improve. He's not as talented as those guys. Of course, he's not. He can't be. You know, Khan won a silver medal at the age of 17. Brook was wiping everybody out up until he got to world level. When he fought Porter, it was a tough fight, but you expect world level to be tough. But he was wiping everybody out, and he looked fantastic. Brook looked sensational at times, going through the levels. He was sensational. He literally wiped everybody out at European level. I know there's a lot of people that hate on Brook, but Brook was a very, very good fighter. And I think both of them will look back, and Brook must definitely look back and look at it with some regret, because he was a great fighter. He was a great fighter, even though, like I said, I might have come across over the years biased, the years that I've been on YouTube about this Khan Brook situation. But like I said, I've always said Brook for me was my brother doesn't rate Brook that much, but I saw Brook fight Hector Saldivia, Matthew Hatton, and, you know, the way he blew those guys away. This guy had power, he had great timing, great accuracy, he had everything. He was a very, very good fighter. Just a guy that's career, for me, didn't ever take off after he beat Sean Porter. And what I think that was, for me, maybe should have gone to America. I think it was a case where they wanted the big fights here in the UK, and they didn't get them. And I just think his career just teetered out. Then they saw the Golovkin fight, and that was it, basically. That was it. Then after the Golovkin fight, he fought Errol Spence, and that was it. And it was sad, because who knows what would have happened in the Spence fight if Spence had fought Kell Brook before Golovkin. Who knows what would have happened? You know, Kell Brook had the eye damage, psychological damage. You know, he had mentally taken a loss. You know, Carl Froch was right when he said that Kell Brook, when he fought Golovkin, something left him that night. And you probably have to agree. It's sad with the way, I think, the way Amir Khan's second part of his career went, and the way Kell Brook's whole career, especially when he got to around world level, was just, it was very badly, for me, it should have been a lot better. He should have got a lot more fights. He should have, in my opinion, not fought Golovkin, fought Jesse Vargas, and then he would have beaten Jesse Vargas, and then he may have been a mandatory for Errol Spence. And maybe if he had beat Vargas, his confidence would have been through the roof now that he's unified champion. Remember when he fought Errol Spence, he was coming off a eye socket break, and then he had taken an L. You know, his confidence isn't the same. See, when you win, your confidence is different. You've not been beat before. You see, when you've been beat, something like Carl Froch said, something's been taken away from you. And I just feel that Kell Brook was never the same after the Golovkin fight. And in terms of Conor Benn, like I said, the sky's the limit now, man. Conor Benn might go. Conor Benn could go all the way, man. Conor Benn could go all the way. I like the guy's work ethic. I think the guy's improving. He's got the bit between his teeth. You can just look at him and think, man, this guy's a beast. You know, he means it when he's talking as well. Like, I know some people don't like the way he talks, and, you know, when you talk like that, there's going to be a lot of people, some people find you cocky, some people think this guy is not for me. But at the end of the day, like I said, I think the guy's really working hard in the background. And I think he's gonna be a star. I don't know whether he's gonna go on to win a world title because, like I said, at welterweight there's too many good fighters, and like Jaron Ennis, to me, yeah, I saw his fight. He looks an absolute beast. He's southpaw. He looks devastating to me. He might be the best out of everyone. And I'm talking, this guy could be able to give the top guys some problem. You know, the guy looks dangerous to me. Conor Benn's obviously work in progress and he's improving. I don't know, guys. I don't know whether he's going to, from a title point of view, achieve what those guys did. But in terms of, he'll be giving it his best, that's for sure. And he'll be working his socks off. And if he loses a fight, he isn't just going to disappear and, you know, start doing other things. This is a guy that's going to give his all to boxing. You can just tell, man. You can just tell from his body language, the way he talks. This is a guy that's going to give his all to boxing. And for me, you could probably say maybe Kell, Brook and Amir Khan at times were guilty of not. So, listen, to be honest, Amir Khan and Kell Brook both shouldn't fight Conor Benn. They should think about fighting each other and then calling it a day. And what I will say is that sometimes in my videos I can get a little emotional, right? I do, but that's probably because of some of the things I get into it too much on social media. I need to stop. I need to stop looking at the comments and stop looking. Not so much at YouTube comments. No, most of you guys are good. And I like seeing your guys' comments. And I like replying to you as well. It's some of the other stuff like on Twitter and Facebook. Like, honestly, you get so many like trolls and ridiculous comments. Like, you don't know what I saw on Facebook. You don't know what somebody put on Facebook. I don't even want to say it because it was absolutely disgusting. But, and rightfully so, the guy took they took his post off. But it is what it is. Like I said, you know, I'm guilty of going on social media, and maybe some of you guys might be guilty of going on social media, getting involved, and I'm trying not to. I'm trying to stay away from that. And I know what some of you guys are saying about, you know, the stuff about what you said about Khan, and, you know, look at the other side of it. Yeah, I agree that he has also. There are some people that genuinely dislike him because of some of the stuff that he's done. Yes, I agree. But I do think he gets a lot of unjustified hate as well. Brook, on the other hand, Brook's never been a guy that's... I think Brook, I think a lot of fans were frustrated with Brook. They were just frustrated that his career didn't really take off like it should have done. He didn't really get the fights, and it was just, like I said, it seemed like it wasn't... The career could have been better managed. But it is what it is, you know. You live and you learn. Maybe both Amir Khan and Kell Brook can maybe guide other fighters. Like Amir Khan now is working with Tao Singh. Maybe he can guide him if Tao Singh goes on to become a world level fighter. Maybe he can get Tao Singh, you know, not to make the same mistakes that he made, you know. And hopefully Amir Khan can become a mentor like that. And same with Kell Brook, because, you know, both these guys are former champions, you know. So they definitely could pass their knowledge on to the younger generation. You know, there's a lot of Asian fighters, and just fighters in general, not just Asian fighters, but fighters in general coming through. And I'm pretty sure Kell Brook and Amir Khan can pass on their knowledge, especially Amir, to some of the guys from his background, like maybe Hamza Shiraz. I know a lot of these guys, you know, Kash Farouk already said he's his mentor. So a lot of these guys look up to Amir Khan because he was like a trailblazer. So hopefully he can pass on good, valuable information to them, and hopefully they can, you know, learn from some of the mistakes he did, and then correct it and maybe get to where he got to. But in terms of Conor Benn, yeah, I think the future's bright for him, man. I think he's a future star. I think he could potentially go a long way in the sport. I think he could, and the sky's the limit. It sure is, and I don't think anyone should give him stick. I don't think anyone should doubt him, because let's be honest, I didn't think he'd get past British level when I first saw him. And the other thing is, right, also all the people that were giving Campbell Hatton stick, remember that people were saying exactly the same thing about Conor Benn. How I will say this, for me, Conor Benn seems a bit different to Campbell Hatton. Now, maybe Campbell Hatton might change, I think I don't know. Conor Benn just seems a bit more like you know. But let's see, man. Give Campbell Hatton time. Campbell Hatton can definitely improve and get better. And who knows, he might turn out to be like Conor Benn. Conor Benn's really improving. He's really improved, man. He's put his work in. Anyone that works hard, it's natural. Anyone that works hard will get rewarded, right? Most likely. If you put in the work, you'll get rewarded. And Conor Benn's reaping the rewards of the hard work that he's put in. And Campbell Hatton will get the same rewards if he puts in the same kind of hard work. You know, hard work normally doesn't go to waste if you're doing the right things. So yeah, I feel let's see, man. Let's see how Conor Benn's career develops. Let's see who he fight next. But yeah, leave your thoughts, guys. I will be doing a live stream with a guest, and hopefully you guys can join. Leave your thoughts, guys. Let me know what you're thinking, guys. Remember to please like, share, subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.